we're seeing that a lot of people have like given up that option of education to now go into the music. Now, if you were an artist, if you were advising an artist, what would you say to them as the most lucrative ways for them to actually execute a plan to actually make money within the music?
Well, I would say that if your main aim is to make money, don't become a music artist, because that will tell in your music. And as much as there's 3 or 4 hip-hop artists who are making millions and millions and millions of dollars, the 9 billion other people that rap are not making millions and millions of dollars. So if your main aim is to make music, the music industry is not very good odds. Go get a job, become an accountant or a lawyer. You've got far more chance of making a decent salary doing that. If you're incredibly talented, you're willing to work hard, you're willing to put in loads of work for years, you might create a career for yourself that music is viable. If you make a cheesy pop song, you might hit lucky and get on the radio and make loads of money really quickly and then be gone again in 5 minutes, which is cool, not knocking it. If that's your model and you make money, great. The odds of that are also very slim. The most sure odds in the music industry for actually creating a career is maintaining a certain amount of credibility and building yourself, particularly in a world today where you've got YouTube and all these other avenues. You can build over a period of time as fan base all over the world. I always say to people, and it's horrible because it's almost like I have to rub my success in people's face for them to realise that I know what I'm talking about. So I have to say to people, well, I'm going to Indonesia in a couple of weeks, I've got a show out there. I'm going Philippines the week after that. I've performed in Vietnam, Nigeria, Zimbabwe, Sudan, all over America, France, Belgium, Switzerland. I could do that, and I try not to be a prick and rub my achievements on people. But sometimes when you're an independent artist and you're not on MTV and you're not on Radio 1, people assume that you're not successful because you're not visible. But in the real world, particularly online, with a certain amount of type of music that travels and touches people, those opportunities come up. I performed at the Sudanese National Museum, you know, next to 2 statues of Amon-Ra and the Pharaoh Tahakwa and Pianki behind me from 500 BC. You know, those are the kind of things that I've been able to do because I make a particular style of music. And so I would say to young people that it may not look like you're necessarily successful because you're not on Radio 1 or you're not on MTV, but you can be successful and have a career if you've got a certain amount of talent and you be who you are. That's the main thing that I think translates, and that's what people turn into a commodity, is that truth, that channeling, that energy that artists are able to bring through and into music is what record labels are supposed to market. To me, cheesy pop music isn't what they're supposed to market. The reason why Bob Marley is a great investment is because of that. The reason why Marvin Gaye or Stevie Wonder or Pink Floyd are great investments, even on a business level, is because people are buying into a particular energy that they are able to transmit.
And you were just saying, you know, in the conversation about how many albums it took for Bob Marley before he
it was 8-9 albums in before he got his break. And he's Bob Marley. He's almost certainly the greatest songwriter of the 20th century, and it took him 9 albums to blow. That's what people talk about blowing now. They don't talk about making good art or making good music or freeing their people. Or this is the thing, and this is what makes me laugh. You talk to artists and you ask them who their favourite artists are, they're going to say Bob Marley, but then they're going to diss conscious music. It's just like you're completely backwards, you know. Bob Marley made what we would call conscious music. I don't recall one song Bob Marley made. He drove a BMW. He had millions of dollars. Millions and millions and millions of dollars.
But the message was artistic.
But I don't recall him ever making a song about how much money he had, because he had no desire to separate himself from downtown Trenchtown Kingston, which is what he grew up in. He had no desire to make himself better than the rest of the niggas in the hood, which is what rap music's saying today. You know, if I can buy stuff made by Europeans, then I'm better than the rest of the niggas in the hood. Bob Marley didn't say that. Marvin Gaye didn't say that. Stevie Wonder didn't say that. Miles Davis didn't say that, and he drove a Ferrari back then, in the 50s, you know, when black people weren't even human. So in fact, he grew up rich anyway, Miles Davis. So there's a lot of successful artists that have been successful making art, and they will live forever. There's a lot of artists that make money making a product like Coca-Cola, or you know, or a pencil. It's just a product, and that's cool. I'm not knocking it. I'm saying it's not for me. And even in a business sense, I think that's what's killed the music industry. All this garbage music has meant that people have lost faith in the industry as a whole. The music industry's inability to adapt to the internet. Just the whole philosophy of arrogance of the music industry.
So where do we lay, or where do we apportion responsibility? Is it the consumer, the radio, the musician, or the labels?
It's a combination of all. I mean, people think that music isn't political. It's completely political. The idea that entertainment and films, what load of bullshit is that? That public culture is not, it's the most political thing there is. Most people's opinions about the world around them is based on what? Entertainment.
Yeah.
There's people that actually think Imhotep look like the guy in the film The Mummy Returns, just because he's called Imhotep, and that's the film. There are people who think ancient Egyptians look like Elizabeth Taylor because they've watched a film where she plays Cleopatra. No one's ever explained to them that Cleopatra was in the Greco-Roman period of ancient Egypt, 3,000 years after the pyramids had been built. She wasn't, you know what I mean, she was half Greek or half Roman or half wherever she came from. I don't know what Cleopatra's actual makeup was. My point is, people take their perception of history from entertainment. It's very political, and music is no exception to that. So the power structures in the world that we live in are not ignorant of the fact that music, I mean, there was police. Jimi Hendrix was followed by the CIA and the FBI. Everyone knows that now. So was Bob Marley. So is most rappers. The idea that music is not a threat to this power structure is just bullshit. And because music is such a threat, because it has the ability to change so many minds so quickly, music artists are pushed either by coercion or by other forces into a particular direction. And then we're taught to praise these people like they're doing us some kind of favour by singing about Italian clothes and French champagne, like they're doing something for the hood. They represent some kind of success for us by emphasising their ability to acquire things made by rich Italians and French people.
The coercion part, how do you feel that actually manifests itself?
The coercion, it can either be direct, where record labels, I know for a fact, you know, and A&Rs and people in the industry put pressure on artists to rap about particular things, right? Or the coercion can just be the idea they attach a stigma to being a conscious artist, and if you're conscious, you're a hater. So basically, if you speak on behalf of the community you came from and the problems of the community you came from, you're a hater. But if you speak on behalf of rich Italian and French people, then you're a G. That's what, let's be clear about what we're saying. We're not saying anything different than that. If I rap about German cars, and I drive a German car, so no one can say I'm a hater. I drive a Mercedes. I just choose not to make a million songs about my Mercedes because I think there's more important things in the world than German industrial capabilities.